I tell you what, I just can't get over how many called strike threes we've seen on fastballs right down the middle where hitters just give up on it, thinking about the splitter, thinking about the breaking ball, and they take a fastball right down over the heart of the plate, and it doesn't even seem to bother them.
Bothers you?
It bothers me a lot. I put up a battle fight with 2 strikes.
Back-to-back strikeouts for Francis to begin his evening, and here's Tristan Casas, who will take a fastball for a called strike. Casas, big power, limited at bats this year due to a lengthy stint on the IL with a rib cage injury. Hit 3 home runs in game 1 of a doubleheader against the Twins Sunday. There's a curveball that misses outside. One thing Bowden Francis has done consistently is he throws strikes. He is aggressive with his stuff. He believes in his stuff. He is not overpowering, but he does not nibble either.
No, he doesn't. He's got confidence in his pitches, and he's always about locating his pitches, whether it's a splitter, a curveball, or a fastball. And if you locate your pitches effectively, and if you pitch ahead, you can have some easy innings.
Casas steps back in. 2-1 the count with 2 down and the bases empty. And a high fly ball to left. Very high fly ball to left. Finally comes down for Nathan Lucas. And it's a 3-up, 3-down first for Bowden Francis.
Llega a Reading, Pensilvania, la solución de los musicólogos.
More strikes up and down. 1-2.
Boy, that's a cutter right there, Coney. It really gets your attention as a lefty, and there's nothing you can do other than hook it foul. But it's got to be thrown correctly. You know, if it's not in off the inside corner, you hit it hard.
That's what you'd love to see. Yank it way foul to get to 2 strikes. It's a great setup pitch. Now he can go anywhere he wants to try to get a put away pitch.
This must be a big game in here. You know, we got 3 guys in the booth tonight.
I know.
Huh?
Squeezed in here.
Actually had 4. Girardi was in the house, too. We could have filled the whole booth up.
And the 1-2. 2-2. They brought in the old guard, too. Tony's back.
Oh. Walked in today, saw Coney. I'm like, wow, it's like old times, man.
2-2. 3-2.
Yeah, I miss you guys, man. It's been a while.
I didn't know if we got in trouble or something, Cody. We haven't worked together in a long time, you know.
So a full count on Santander, who has 2 hits in his last 22 at-bats. Popped up on the left side. Coming on is Verdugo. He's there to make the play. And Schmidt retires the Orioles in order. It's Baltimore nothing. And the New York Yankees coming to bat. So the Orioles go down in order against Clark Schmidt. Certainly looked very, very strong in that top of the first inning. Gleyber Torres on the on-deck circle. We'll take a look at the entire starting lineup brought to you by TikTok. Gleyber leads off. He's done a great job in the number spot. Number 2 is the right fielder Juan Soto, batting third. The captain, the center fielder Aaron Judge. Middle third of the order, Austin Wells, Giancarlo Stanton, and Jazz Chisholm Jr. And the bottom third, Rizzo, Volpe, and Verdugo.
And D. Kramer on the mound, be his 24th start on the year. And you see those numbers across the board, kind of middle of the pack a little bit. And we can tell you a little bit more about that in our Nissan pitcher scouting report. And yeah, when you look at his numbers overall, a little below league average as major league starting pitchers go, but much better lately. He's had a 3.10 ERA in his last 7 starts, so right when the Orioles need him. And split the difference, that's a split finger. This year is really a new pitch he introduced and had very good success with it, especially late in the count, to be able to get ground balls and swing and misses.
The Oriole defense is presented by defender Kauser, Mullins, and Santander, left to right in the outfield. In the infield, it's Urias, Henderson, Westberg, and O'Hearn. That's third to first. Rushman behind the plate. Herstad is the DH, and Kramer's on the mound. And the first pitch is a strike to Gleyber Torres. Gleyber has 3 home runs in his last 10 games. He's 6 for his last 16. September's been a good month for him. 20 games, hitting .330.
I don't know what it was, but it's like when he got to the leadoff spot, it's like it was a pat on the back, and he really, really has become a better hitter, seeing more pitches, hitting for power all over the field. Pretty much what you want Gleyber Torres to do.
Yeah, I mean, he's seeing a lot more pitches, looking to go the other way. He really kind of bought into the mentality of a leadoff hitter.
Gleyber's always hit well against the Orioles, a .299 average, 20 runs and 60 runs batted in.
He was part of the reason they moved the wall back in Camden Yards.
Yeah.
What he used to do there 3 or 4 years ago.
Yeah, remember that 1 year, Gary Thorne, he'd seen enough. That's enough. I don't call him anymore. I mean, he was having an unbelievable time in Camden Yards.
The 2-2. That one is looped into right field. That is going to fall in for a base hit in front of Santander. A leadoff single for Gleyber Torres.
Well, they say, Coney, good hitters get jammed, and sometimes, you know, with 2 strikes, you got to protect that outside corner.
Puts it away. 1 out. And here's Aaron Judge. Talk about good numbers against the Orioles. '98 games against Baltimore, 318, 42 homers, and 90 runs batted in. And if you're wondering what that would project to over 162 games, he finished with 69 home runs, 149 ribbies.
It's about his regular year almost, isn't it?
Close. Cooking up something special with Hexclad against the Orioles. He also scored 97 runs, an OPS of 1.188. That's since 2017. Join the hybrid revolution at hexclad.com. Chopped toward third. They get the force at second. On the first. The ball gets by, but hits against the fence in front of the Yankee dugout, so Judge will stay put.
Aaron Judge chops this ball. Not a lot of time to turn a double play. He just kind of shot putted it over there. no chance to get Aaron Judge at first base. You see that little cutter, that little slider, whatever you want to call it. It just causes you to get over the top of it a little bit in the ground ball.
Wells had a big double in the final game in Oakland, but he has struggled of late. 2 hits in his last 27 at bats. Blocked by Rushman, keeping
See that little cutter, that little slider, whatever you want to call it. It just causes you to get over the top of it a little bit. The ground ball.
Here's Austin Wells.
Blame Mariano Rivera for that pitch. Out now, everybody's got a cutter.
And a strike. Wells had a big double in the final game in Oakland, but he has struggled of late. 2 hits in his last 27 at bats. Blocked by Rushman, keeping Judge at first.
It's amazing this time of year, Coney, because all of a sudden you're reaching the finish line. See Wells, not a very competitive pitch there, but you just all of a sudden you're going to blanket. All the numbers are gone, and you go into the playoffs, and now the big bats come. So, you can make your year in the playoffs, or you can just continue to have a great year. There's been so many players I remember that had bad years, that had good playoffs. Fans can remember the playoffs more so than the whole season.
Two and one on Austin Wells. Orioles trying to right the ship. They're going to make the playoffs. But how will they go into the playoffs as they are struggling mightily for quite a long time now? 2 and 2 on Wells. This is a team that dominated last year, but they have not dominated this year after July.
They're a team that kind of fits what you just talked about. Paul, that once they get to the playoffs and they can wipe the slate clean, they still have a lot of talent.
Two. Still 2 and 2.
Yeah, if you look what they're going to have to do, Coney, obviously their starting pitching is going to have to get a little bit better. Their bullpen's going to have to be improved, but also their star players. I was talking to Jim Palmer today. They have not won.
Didn't this guy promise that you were going to hit 2 home runs once?
I think so. Yeah.
Hard to hit home runs.
Well, especially when they give you an error on the second one.
Runner going. A ground ball to O'Hearn, and that'll do it here in the first. No runs a hit, and 1 man left on. Let's go to the second in the stadium.
Gaby Music, la solución de los musicólogos. Hacemos un trabajo de calidad y garantizado. Gaby Music llega a Reading, Pensilvania, la solución de los musicólogos.
We go to the second inning at Yankee Stadium in the Bronx. 0-0. Leadoff single by Gleyber Torres in the first inning. The only hit. Here's Colton Cowser. One of the top contenders for American League Rookie of the Year with Luis Gil and Austin Wells. Pitch up and away. Well, Cowser made the team out of spring training, but had a big opening month, but then he slumped in May and June, hit 185. Customers can get $200 in bonus bets guaranteed when you place your first $5 bet. Download the FanDuel Sportsbook app today. We go to the second inning at Yankee Stadium in the Bronx. 0-0. Leadoff single by Gleyber Torres in the first inning. The only hit. Here's Colton Cowser. One of the top contenders for American League Rookie of the Year with Luis Gil and Austin Wells. Pitch up and away. Well, Cowser made the team out of spring training, but had a big opening month, but then he slumped in May and June, hit 185. And this is the rookie race. You see Gil's numbers, Austin Wells and Colton Cowser, the one with the best wins above replacement is Gil, and that's courtesy of Baseball Reference.
Could be a split the vote there.
Yeah, I mean, that's a tough one because Calder's been up all year. You know, he's had the ability to go out and play and heal for the most part. You know, he was on the IL for a little while, but, you know, Wells has really changed what, you know, hitting behind Aaron Judge, but didn't have the number of games and at-bats.
Swing and a miss. Tell you what, Schmidt's stuff looks sharp.
Really good.
You know, you've seen the cutter and now the knuckle curve, and you know he gets that downward break here. That's not just down; that goes straight down. And this, Tony, you've talked about the spin rate, and it, you know, the harder the spin, the tougher it is to pick up from a hitter.
Yeah, that's the one that features more against lefties to try to put them away, just like that. More sweepers against righties like that.
The knuckle curve, you can throw a couple different ways. You know, you prop that knuckle up and really pull down on the seam, or you actually push it like you've seen it.
Yeah,
right?
Yeah, absolutely.
Now he's more really pulling that seam down, huh?
That's a base hit for Jordan Westberg. Makes a big turn as Verdugo fires in. Let's take a look at Schmidt's knuckle curve this season on StatCast 3D by Google Cloud.
Yeah, he really generates high spin rate with that. The ones that are pushed out are a little lower spin rate in terms of you know, the measurements go, but his has always been a really high spin rate. He's had that since college. That's what made him a #1 pick from the Yankees, even though he was going to have Tommy John surgery before the draft.
Yeah, that's amazing, and that's not really that unordinary. I mean, people draft kids knowing that it's been that successful with Tommy John surgery.
1-0 on Ryan O'Hearn. O'Hearn hit very well last year after coming over from the Royals, 289 in his Orioles debut. He's good again this year, but he has struggled in the second half like most of his teammates. 2-1.
There's so many decisions for the Yankees to make. Aaron Boone, the organization. Right here on the mound's one of the big ones right here. I mean, is this guy going to be your #3 starter in postseason? You're going to move him to the bullpen, be a multi-inning weapon. Clark the ball very well. Presents options for Aaron Boone.
Loop to right field. Is that going to be fair? Yes, it is. And it bounces into the seats for a double. Yankees catch a break because that holds Westberg up at third.
Well, a jam shot down the line, but it had no hook on it. It didn't hook foul. It just, you know, it kept that line. And now Clark Schmidt's going to have to work to try to either minimize the damage or get out of this inning. Probably a broken bat, but died a hero, huh?
Every hitter in the history of baseball always has body language.
Yeah.
Going down the first base line.
You try to steer him, Coney.
Trying to steer it, yes.
Doesn't always work, but you try.
Carlton Fisk, 1975.
Here's Kerstad. Yankees play the infield back except at third, so they'll give up a run, 1-0. Grounded to second, run will score. Second out is made as O'Hearn moves to third. Game time weather presented by Bigelow, the official hot tea of the Yankees. 65 degrees, feels like a wee bit cooler. 8% chance of rain, 71% humidity. The wind is blowing in from left field.
And it's dark at game time now, Michael, if you haven't noticed. Pitch black.
Here's Ramon Urias, runner at third, 2 outs. With a win and a loss by either the Royals or the Twins.
Scoreboard watching everywhere around the country, it seems, huh?
Tigers won again today. Tampa Bay 2-1. That's an incredible story.
It just is. There's just no two ways about it. They traded their best pitcher at the deadline, Flaherty, to the Dodgers, and they got their shortstop back, and Trey Sweeney, former Yankee first-round pick.
Just played very well.
Yes, he's played exceptionally well, taking over for Javi Baez at shortstop there. That was a big move to put Baez on the bench and let Trey Sweeney play, let the kids play, and the kids can play a little bit.
Yeah, we saw Baez, during the times that we saw them play, and he was just lost. I mean, you had to pull the trigger, or pull the trigger and get something done at that position.
All right, let's take a look at the scores. Brought to you by Defender, legendary capability off-road and on. So the Tigers did beat the Rays 2-1. They're on a 12-3 run and 28-11. So when all the pressure was released when they traded Flaherty, they started playing better. And the Dodgers have to be thrilled they got Flaherty. He might be their game one starter.
Yes.
They've suffered an amazing amount of injuries to their starting pitchers.
A.J. Hinch has done a great job with the Tigers. They have two, maybe three starters. They've employed an opener strategy for the better part of the last 6 weeks on several games a week.
3-2 on Urias, 2 outs, runner at third. High fly ball left field. Verdugo will put it away, and that'll do it. 1 run, 2 hits, and 1 man left. We go to the bottom of the second.
I said, 21 has never been that big. I mean, it's just screaming.
1-2.
Did you wave goodbye when you left, Michael?
I feel sorry for the fans.
Yeah.
I mean, I didn't love that ballpark, but the fans deserve better. They've always supported that team.
Weird place to play baseball. The foul ground was so big. I mean, it's a football stadium that they put a home plate and a mound on, really. But, you know, over the years, great tradition, great players. Back in the 70s, they won 3 consecutive World Series. Big four-seam fastball here. Got by Big G.